verses. Verse 25, verse 26, and verse 27 of Daniel chapter 9. Verse 25 tells us that from the time the decree is given to rebuild the city of Jerusalem until the Messiah officially reveals himself will be 69 weeks. Now the word weeks is translated from the Hebrew word shabuah, which simply means 7. It can refer to 7 days, 7 weeks, 7 months, or even 7 years, depending upon the context. But in this context, it's referring to years. So what this prophecy is saying is from the time the commandment is given to rebuild the city of Jerusalem until the Messiah officially reveals himself will be 69 7-year periods, or in other words, 483 years. And there's 360 days in a prophetical year. So 483 times 360 equals 173,880 days. So what Daniel was saying in verse number 25 is this: if you counted 173,880 days from the time the decree was given to rebuild the city of Jerusalem, it would give you the exact day that the Messiah would enter Jerusalem to reveal himself as the true Messiah. Now, we know when the decree to rebuild the city was given. It was given on March the 14th, 445 BC. So, according to Daniel's prophecy, the true Messiah would triumphantly enter Jerusalem on April the 6th, 32 AD, which is the exact day that Jesus made his triumphant entry into Jerusalem. Verse 26 tells us that after the 69 weeks, but before the 70th week, 2 events would occur. First, the Messiah would be cut off, but not for himself, for us, which is exactly what happened. 4 days after Jesus made his triumphal entry into Jerusalem, he was crucified. Secondly, the city of Jerusalem and the temple would be destroyed, which happened in 70 AD, 38 years after the Messiah appeared and was cut off. Now, because those 2 events were to occur after the 69 weeks, but before the 70th week, it tells us that there's an interval between the 69th week and the 70th week. And how long is that interval? How long is that gap of time? Well, we know it's at least 2,000 years. Because when the Babylonian captivity ended on July 23rd, 537 BC, the Jews still owed God 2,520 years of servitude. And prophetical years is 2,483 years, 9 months, and 21 days. And we know that the 70th week would not begin until Israel's servitude was over. So, when was it over? May 14th, 1948. The very day that modern Israel became a nation. Is that a coincidence? No. The day Israel's servitude was over was also the day that they became a nation, symbolizing that the fig tree has bloomed and designating us as the generation that will see his return. We are the final generation. Verse 27 tells us that the 70th week begins when the Antichrist negotiates a 7-year peace treaty with Israel. That's what begins the tribulation. Listen to me. The 70th week is the tribulation. And how long is a week? 7 years. That's how we know that the tribulation lasts for 7 years. Verse 27 also tells us that in the middle of the tribulation, the Antichrist will break the treaty, and he'll commit the abomination of desolation. In other words, he's going to enter the temple, he's going to sit on the mercy seat, and he's going to proclaim himself to be God. At that point, he turns on the Jews in order to exterminate them, killing over 2/3 of the Jews in the land of Israel. The remnants that's left realize that Jesus was the true Messiah. They repent, they pray for his return, and Jesus returns to usher in the millennium. And now you understand the prophecy known as the 70 weeks of Daniel. Now, this morning we're going to continue